cars, guys, that if you want to really drive the car, and I mean really drive it, you've got to be comfortable pushing it in very low gears at very high RPMs. And so at 6,300 RPMs, you're actually getting max torque. And so intuitively, you're thinking, well, it's loud and I'm at 4 or 5, like most engines, that's where you'd be. But really, you need to be here. I mean, listen to that thing. But this is where you would want to come out of this turn, right? And have the ability to have your max power. And really, you would want to be in first. See what I mean? It's like, you really need to bang it off the rev limiter if you want to have the power. And it's one of those things you just have to get used to. You know, it's loud and it's visceral. And so it's one of those things that if you're not okay with that, get the GTS because you have all that low end torque. But if you really are a bit nuts and you just are okay with, you know, knowing that it's built for it and you're okay with the eardrums bleeding a little bit, then I mean, literally, guys, it's like this turn, you could be in first gear. And if you were on the track and you had it in PDK Sport, you would be in first gear, okay? Because there's no torque down there. And so right now, really, if I'm on a track, I'm here. See what I mean? Welcome back to Driven Productions, guys. My name is Adam. We are in the HQ today with the greatest Porsche that currently exists. This is the GOAT. This is the 992 GT3RS, manufactured in Stuttgart. So this is a good friend of mine, Hi's car. Now I'm going to be bringing Hi on camera with me here in just a second. We're going to talk about what he loves about the car. He's gotten it now. I think he's had it a couple of months. He's had one track session with the car. So he's going to be kind of cool to hear from an owner perspective. Because really, guys, and I did a POV drive with this car, and you probably already saw that clip, you really can't get even 6, 7, 10 on this car on the street. So it's cool to hear from an owner perspective because there's nothing that I'm going to be able to show you in a review on this particular car that's going to give you any level of consciousness more than any of the reviewers who have actually taken it to the track, like the Savage Geeses of the world. So what I hope to help you with today is a little bit about the spec, you know, what you should spec if you're going to be getting one of these. We'll talk a little bit about the allocation of this, over MSRP, things like that. They give you some consciousness there. We're going to go through the car with you, just kind of talk a little bit about what makes this different versus the previous generation, what makes this different versus the GTSs of the world and other options in the 992 range. So if this is something you're interested in, please subscribe. Go down in the comment section too if you have a question. We'll be monitoring that. I really appreciate you watching. Let's get into it. All right, Hi, welcome to the HQ, buddy.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Appreciate you coming, man. It's been great getting to know you this year.
Yeah, of course, man. This place is awesome. It's been fun.
Thank you. Congratulations on this beautiful machine.
Thank you, thank you.
Guards red. So tell me, you know, why did you get a 3RS versus a GTS, a GT3? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is my second GT3RS. The first one was a 2019.
Okay.
It was a 991.2 GT Silver car. Very similar spec to this one, which we'll get into here in a little bit.
Sure.
But for me, this was always kind of a dream car purchase. This is my only sports car.
Okay.
Supercar, whatever bucket you want to put it in. But yeah, to me, it was always a GT3RS. Like I had that goal set for probably like 3 or 4 years. I thought about getting into like a GTS or a turbo, kind of along that journey. Like once I decided I definitely wanted a 911. But just decided to hold out and wait for the right opportunity. And, you know, it was just more of like the dream car thing. I wanted to do the GT3RS. That was always the car. Yeah. Right. And we finally got around to pulling the trigger on that first one. Had that for about 3 months. And then this one popped up. And so this one is rare, and not in the sense of like, hey, my car is rare.
No. Let's be very clear. It's rare.
Yeah, it's rare.
There's 3 guys in Nashville that own this car. Okay? Yeah. So very rare.
It's a rare spec, in that it's a low spec. So I planned on keeping my first car, the 2019 one, for at least like a year or two. Yeah. Always with the goal of it being like a gateway car into one of these at some point. Sure. But when this one popped up, the gap was much shorter, to make that jump. And so we're able to make it happen. You know, it's a pretty low MSRP car. It's a $250,000 MSRP. It's a 2023 model year.
Let's talk a little bit about that for a second, guys. Like he says, it's a low MSRP car. It's still a $350,000 car, right? But it doesn't have a Weissach package, and so the Weissach package gives you a lot of carbon fiber. Now, keep in mind, this is carbon fiber reinforced. This is carbon fiber reinforced plastic. This whole door is carbon fiber reinforced plastic. The roof is carbon fiber reinforced plastic, right? So everything, in fact, if you don't know, guys, not a single body panel is shared with a normal 911 Carrera. Not one on this car. This is all bespoke to the GT3 platform, and in this particular car, especially with that hood and stuff, the GT3RS platform, right, with these extra large NACA ducts, extra large rear fenders. Guys, these are 335 rear tires. I mean, this thing, look at all this. This is all bespoke to just this car. So that's a really cool feature, you got to admit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a lot of guys tell me, oh, well, this is just a punched up Carrera. No,
Yep.
no. They've kind of gone away from that with this generation, right?
Yep.
This is truly bespoke and special to this particular car,
Yep.
and which is cool. Now, the Weissach package would give you carbon fiber here, carbon fiber here. I think it also gives you, does it change this stuff too to carbon fiber? You know?
Yes.
I think
so,
it does, right?
So this active portion of the spoiler would be a carbon fiber piece where it's just carbon fiber reinforced plastic here. Okay. So it's a visible weave carbon fiber wing.
Got it.
On the back.
And I think these bits are still not carbon though on
Yeah.
the Weissach. So you still don't get carbon here, carbon here, carbon here, carbon here. And also you still don't get carbon here, correct?
Correct.
So,
yeah, you're dealing with the hood,
just that.
the roof, and then the spoiler trim piece, all in carbon fiber on the Weissach.
And do you know what the Weissach package is right now? You know how much it costs?
I think it's a $33,000 option.
Golly.
At least on this model year, the 23s and 24s, I think it was about $33K.
Wow. So you can have a Weissach package, or you can have an entire Miata that's built for the track.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
pick your poison, right?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. And in order to get the magnesium wheels on this car, you have to get the Weissach package, which those I think are $16,000.
Correct. Yeah, this is the lightweight aluminum one. So, you know, like you said, like it's an expensive car. $250,000 is a lot of money, like to me. So I didn't mean to indicate that.
No. Nobody's going to judge you for that. I mean, if you got it, get it.
Yeah,
know?
but relatively speaking, like this is a lower lower spec car. It's got everything it needs and nothing it doesn't, right? Yeah. That's kind of the way I like to put it. It's got the carbon ceramic brakes.
Yep.
It's got the front axle lift. It's got a couple interior options. Like it's got the door sills, like the carbon fiber
illuminated
GT3RS.
door sills. Yep,
yeah,
those
those are pretty cool touch.
You got the buckets.
Yep, bucket seats.
Again, you've watched any of my reviews, guys. I say this every time, but I always assume the guy who sees this has never seen one of my reviews. So if you do not have consciousness on these buckets, please go sit in them before you spec your car. Now, the caveat is, if you get a 3RS and you don't get buckets, you are out of your mind. Like, please, if you get a Rennsport product, an RS product, get buckets. It's good for resale value. It's going to help connect you with the car a lot more, hold you in position better. If you really do get a GTS or something, go try these seats. Make sure that you can get over this hip right here, because it is difficult to get in and out of.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a fact. And this really does destroy the whole date night aspect of this type of car. Now you can get everything here leather stitched. You can get the extra premium package and all the additional stitching here. You can get all these different inlays here. This one's, of course, carbon fiber, but you can get all these different premium upgrades on these cars, and it just cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah.
It just gets more and more expensive.
Adds up fast. And so, yeah, if I were speccing the car out myself, I probably would have added a couple things that this car does not. One big thing being the stereo. Like to jam when I'm driving, doing some weekend drives and stuff like that. The bass stereo in these cars literally sounds like two walkie-talkies in the door. Like it is not good.
Yeah, and the Bose isn't world class either.
Yeah,
but at least it's decent.
At least
right?
it's something. So I would have done that. I would have done the smoking package, not because I'm smoking cigars in the car or anything like that, but because it gives you the outlet where the cup holder is.
Yes, which is right here, guys.
You could run like a Garmin or like a track timer or something like that. But there are a lot of great options that don't require being like wired. But just having that would have been something I would have changed. Sure. Other than that, I'm not picky. You know what I mean? Like I don't need my car to have like every box ticked. I think it serves its purpose. It's a GT3RS. It's not It doesn't need all the leather, you know, bits and pieces and luxury features that I know Porsche gives you the option to do. Yeah. For me, it was the perfect car, right? For the timing of it and you know, the car that I had, you know, even though I only had it for 3 months, you know, this was always the end goal, and this was an opportunity to get into one a lot sooner than I originally thought. So I've been super happy with it. So much fun to drive, so incredible on track, and just, you know, no complaints at all. You know, no buyer's remorse. It's been a tremendous experience owning this car.
What's one of the features that kind of most stands out for you on this car?
Definitely the DRS.
DRS, okay.
Yeah, you know, when you think about like cars that have DRS, right? That's a pretty elite tier of cars.
It's F1.
Yeah,
I
you're
can't
talking
think of
like
a single car that has DRS.
Yeah, like you're talking like AMG1.
Yeah.
You know, like $1 million plus cars for the most part, and this car has it. And so being able to just on the fly hit that.
If you don't know, guys, the DRS specifically adjusts this and what something at front, right?
Yeah.
What is it up front?
There's a front spoiler too.
Okay.
And so I think it's positioned about right here. And so it works in conjunction with the rear spoiler to flatten on DRS mode to provide, you know, the least amount of drag possible.
So it's not like a Turbo S where you can actually see the splitter extend or not. It's all internals.
All internal on the front.
On the front, that's cool.
But yeah, it is two wings acting in conjunction when engaging DRS mode, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and again, I put it on the street POV. It's not something you feel unless you're really going for it.
Yeah.
But on the track, I think it would be noticeable. Were you using it on the straightaways?
Yeah, so on like the front straight at NCM,
yeah.
Coming into the finish line, I would hit it like right, kind of coming out of that turn exit, and you could feel like it gives you a little bit more of a boost, I guess. It's a cool feature. Yeah. You know, I think it makes a difference. Usually, I mean, I'm just typically for the most part running it in dynamic mode, so it's kind of doing its own thing.
Sure.
Especially on track.
Does it adjust DRS automatically in dynamic?
Yeah,
That's
it'll
cool.
so
I didn't know that.
It'll open when you're flat, like on a straightaway, and then as soon as you have any kind of input on either the steering wheel or like let off the throttle or something like that, it'll close back up. So it's doing its own thing all the time, and it'll vary too. It's not just open or close. It has its positions where it'll you know, kind of provide varying degrees of downforce depending on what kind of inputs you're putting into the car.
Yeah, the voodoo engineering they did. Huh?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's a really unique system.
It's the only car in the lineup that has it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the 4RS doesn't have DRS.
Yeah,
nothing else.
I just think what the Porsche GT division, right, is just I'm a huge fan of. I think they put out some of the coolest cars.
Furniture. Like, if there's one guy I want to meet and hang out with, it's him.
Yeah, and I think this is a really cool shakeup of that department, and it's just an incredible end result that they came up with here. So
yeah, okay. So one of the things I think you would say now you told me your favorite feature, your least favorite feature, I would imagine, is the fact that this is now gone.
Yeah.
And you have no trunk, you have no front hood, and you have no back seat basically.
Yeah.
So practicality. I mean, it's funny because I wanted to ride with this guy to NCM when he was going, and you know, two helmets and a bag, and it's like you can't even get them back there, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
The new ones, these fold, but this generation doesn't, right?
Mm-hmm. No, they don't fold. So they're
really tricky to get anything back there.
Fixed carbon fiber bucket seats. You would think that the back would provide some sort of, you know, practicality element to it.
Yeah.
But it just really doesn't. I've tried to put stuff back there. We did the support drive for the hurricane relief, and I had a bunch of, you know, diapers and all kinds of stuff to bring to that. Yeah. And I tried to put them in the back, and I got them back there, but then I drove out of my house, and they were just going back because it's really uneven back there. It is nothing. It's no trim back there basically whatsoever. And so stuff rolls around, and so something like a helmet going to a track day would be a terrible spot for it in the back. So I would say, lack of practicality is up there as far as things I don't love about the car. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm usually just driving this either by myself or my wife, and we're just going on like a weekend drive, or I'm taking it to the track. So it's not really something
but not having the room kind of makes it so you can't do a rally. You know?
Yeah,
like even a 2 or 3 day trip.
You've got some room in the footwell for the passenger side. And you know, even when I had the silver car that had the frunk, I mean, I didn't really use the frunk very much, to be honest with you. Anytime
Really?
I was like going to get groceries or get something, I would just put it in the passenger seat. So I don't know.
fair.
I feel like people hype up the fact that it's like very impractical a lot. It's like it's a GT3RS. What do you mean?
I know.
It's like it's not like
it's
you're
like
gonna,
it's like you either get the all the extra cooling, and by the way, guys, this is wild. Like the heat waves that come off this front radiator, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I saw it on our drive today.
Yeah.
You know,
can
you really see the extracting of the heat. It's pretty incredible.
It's unbelievable. I mean, the drag reduction, everything going on, like these shark fins up here, you know, it all serves a purpose, and it looks awesome, which I think is really cool. You know, I've always like gravitated more towards the RSs over the GTs. Not GT3s, mainly because I love these turbo body scoops, because on the RS you get the turbo body, and just visually, you know,
he's talking about this, guys.
I'm a dream car guy, you know. I love having, like, you know, the poster car, right? That's kind of where I'm coming from in this. It's like visually, I think that these add so much to the car. So yeah, I love the GT3s though. I feel like the perfect pair would be like a 997 GT3 manual. Either .1 or .2, I don't care. And then this thing. So you've got like your
ultimate track, ultimate street.
Ultimate track, ultimate street. Yeah.
No, I mean, if you're into the rear wheel drive, one of these days I got to get you into the mid-engine Cayman and see what you think about that.
Yeah, I've never driven one. My first 911 I ever drove was my 19 GT3RS.
He put the sticker on here too.
Yeah.
Now, as far as upgrades, you did this. You did the Boost Logic exhaust, right?
Yeah, it's a catback Boost Logic system. Sounds great. You know, it's an incredible system that they put up there, and it looks stunning too. It's all titanium.
Yeah.
It looks awesome from underneath.
I'll show you guys. Here's the Boost Logic system, and it does say Boost Logic, and it's got the purple tips now because of the titanium. I imagine that saves weight too, right?
Yeah, I think it sheds like 20, 25 pounds or so, give or take.
It really opens up the soul of this car.
Yeah, so we did the decal in the back. Well, I'll kind of start in order. We did the exhaust, and then we did the window tint. Okay. And then I threw a radar detector on there. The car had a track PPF installed on it already. You can see the line here. It stops right here.
I did notice
on the roof.
that. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, so it's not a full PPF car, but it had like 60-70% of the car done. I added some pieces to that. I did the spoiler. Because I feel like if you ever have debris coming up, it's so big. Like if it caught something on the front, I feel like it would be, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, this especially would make me so nervous. I mean, geez, look at this, guys. You have 275 front tires, and it's just all exposed.
Yeah.
So you're talking about all that track asphalt just coming right down your car.
Yeah, it's a lot of high touch areas here, and that's probably when I go to like spot clean the car. Or wipe it off or clean it up or whatever, the first thing I do is I get a blower.
Yeah.
And I'm like blowing these crevices out, like all the little like rocks and, you know, debris and stuff that collects in there. So did the PPF. What else did we do? The paddle shifters. I added the.
Let's show those. So we talked about these on camera, guys, but these are right here. Let me show you. See that right there? These are the Weissach paddles. And they do not come with the car unless you get, obviously, the Weissach package. They're a little bit bigger, I think, right?
Yeah, they're about an inch or two longer, so kind of a little bit easier to grab. And then, you know, the more tactile feel. It almost feels like mechanical, right? Like it feels like you're connected to the car when you're like feeling that magnetic resistance in it. So a cool touch. I would say the downside of it is the sound. It does have a clacky sound to it. But you know, it's kind of the trade-off for the additional feel
I'll let
that
you
you
listen
get.
to it real quick. I mean, it's pretty serious.
Yeah.
It sounds like a sim racer. It has that really good clicky sim racer sound.
Yeah. It's like,
and you know, it's funny, Hyde doesn't use the shifting in the middle there, and that is also an area you can use that, and hopefully he'll start doing it now more. I love that. It's very manual-esque. You just shift it over to the left, and you can bang gears up and down through that, which is how I prefer to do it on the street, so you know. And one of the things with the 992 is you do not get a push-start key or an insert key, but you still get some of the, you know, the vibe by doing it here at Le Mans on the left. You just have to have the key in the car with you. So a little different than I think the past generation, right? Even your last generation, I think it had the insert of the key.
It was the key
right?
that you would stick in and turn, you know, not like a key.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, you know, I'm indifferent on that. I know people seem to be pretty vocal on that. It's cool, it's not cool, it's whatever.
I would actually prefer this frankly.
Yeah.
Because it's still the same sensation, right? But not having to actually because here's the problem: when you get into those bucket seats and you don't have your key in your hand, it's a pain in the butt. To
Right.
get
Getting things in and out of your pockets is tough in the bucket seat. So yeah, to your point.
It's one of those things you have to walk into the car with your stuff in your hands, right?
Yeah.
So if you have bag or you have something in your hand, obviously it's hard. You have to have to put it down, grab the key, then get in the car. So little things you learn, as you own these cars. If you don't know, you don't know.
And last thing, I did the alignment. So I did a 2.1 on all 4 tires on Camber, and I think that's about as much as you can get without shims.
Okay.
So the manual.
So 2.1 on both sides to put them a little bit more like this.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're about that on all 4s.
What's the max you can camber in?
Oh, people go 3. But it's the manual recommends doing 2.4, I think. But you can't get that without adding shims.
Okay.
And so I was I don't need it to be full track, the track alignment, because I'm doing a lot of street driving. But if we get it a little bit more aggressive, a little sharper, that's one thing that when I got into this car, I felt it didn't feel as sharp on the turn ins, but that was mainly because the alignment that's since been fixed, and it feels sharp as a scalpel now.
Yeah.
My last car was set up like it was ready to rip the Nürburgring. It was super aggressive on the alignment.
Did you notice that was tuning up your tires even faster?
Yeah. On the last car, it was definitely.
They had a lot of inner tire wear.
Yeah, I mean it was any little. I mean it was super sharp, and I love that about it. So the alignment on this car has kind of definitely been an improvement. It's probably one of the biggest things you could do to change the overall feel of these cars is doing the alignment. It's not.
And these are not the Michelin's, guys, and these are actually Goodyear. What exactly are they? I know there are tires, but are compounds.
Yeah, it's they're Goodyear Eagle. There, I just saw the
F Eagle something. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of odd, guys. Porsche analyzes everything down to every little last T, but with the tire options they show you, you get one of 4 options.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts. I think if they asked owners what would you like on your car, they're all going to select the Michelin's, but this one has the Goodyears. So go figure.
Super Sport Rs is what they're called.
Super Sport Rs.
I think just depending on what Porsche has, they throw these on sometimes. I think they throw the Cup 2s on sometimes.
Isn't that weird though? They're so anal about every little thing, but yet tire selection, they're just whatever we got in the factory.
They felt great to me on track. I mean, I don't have a ton of track experience, but I wasn't feeling like I was lacking grip at any point. So they without any thing to compare it to, they felt awesome to me.
Well, you got 275 fronts and 335 rears. I think the only other car that has a 335 or a 345 even is the Z06 from Corvette. Otherwise, these are the biggest rear tires in the game.
Yeah, they're fat boys back there.
Massive. I mean, just look at the cutout, guys. You see this line? Look at that. It's a good 5-6 inches of exposed. I mean, if you don't have PPF on that, you're going to destroy that bumper. Yeah. I mean, literally destroy it. I mean, a couple of bad rocks, right? Just go right through that paint.
Yeah, PPF is definitely necessary on those pieces for sure.
It's so aggressive. I mean, look at that. Right off the wheel, right out. I mean, you can see there's already a layer of dust from just the road we did today. And then look at the size of this tire, guys. Look at that. I mean, it's a beast. And those tires, those are going to be a couple $1,000 to replace.
Easy.
I think those are going to be what, 800 a piece,
probably.
Maybe 500 a piece at least. And then I love the new 992 restyled back end. It just looks so sexy.
Yeah, I know a lot of people spec the exclusive light here, which I think just makes it silver. The light's on, so you can't really tell right now. But I think given it's red, keep the red theme going.
The only thing I might have done, and I did this on my Spider RS, is I made silver here. I figured why not? Let's show off the 3D lettering a little bit more.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people go crazy with carbon fiber trim pieces that they'll add, and I like the looks of that. But since this car just doesn't have any, right? I just feel like just keep it as is.
And the cool thing about these plastic bits, you could shit on the fact that you're spending all that money and you don't get carbon fiber, but the reality is if you ever have to change them out, it's so much more cost effective.
Yeah.
You could replace all this trim here, for pennies of what it would have been if it's carbon.
Yeah, I mean, Porsche treats these as like consumables.
That's
it's
literally
like
why they do
windshield
it.
wipers and
It's
stuff
100%
like
why
that.
they do it.
So
Because if you do 10 track days, you can, these are going to get beaten up.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think you have PPF on these, do you?
No.
It's one of those things that doesn't stick well.
yeah.
So yeah, you just order a new bit from Porsche, stick it on, and you're good to go.
So I will say that I love the look of this car when it's like filthy dirty. Like I don't know, like I do.
It's a race car.
Yeah, it's like it looks like it's been just like driven to hell and back, and it just finished like a 12-hour like race, and you just finished a stint, and it's like it looks badass, but it's we try to keep it clean. I baby the car to a degree, but I also drive it. I drive it a lot.
I think you've already tracked it once. Like
yeah.
you are the perfect driver. You are the perfect owner for this car, truly. The guy who just buys this because it's the 16th car in his collection and it sits in his garage, shame on him.
Yeah.
Because it's never going. It's just a collectible thing. It's a store of value at that point. But,
yep.
You with a little bit of street driving and enjoying it in the community here and showing it to the local community is always fun, right? This car gets a ton of attention in Guards Red. And then taking it to the track and actually learning how to drive it to your limits.
Yep.
To your limits is the key.
Yeah.
Because the reality is you're not going to get to this car's actual limits probably in the first season or two.
No,
It's just not. You have to have such a familiarity with the track. And the thing is, guys, and I'm going to put a link to it right here. Go look at my 992 GT3RS like track day review, so to speak, with RB Lippman, who drove that day, because he set a 2:12 second time on NCM, and it was unbelievable what this car allows you to do. It allows you to push turns so much faster than you consciously think you can.
Yeah.
And the reality is, and he's starting to figure this out, you have to go past your level of comfort in order to get the best time.
Yeah.
You have to go 10, 20, 30 miles per hour faster around these turns. And the reason why you're able to do it is because of the downforce. At 124 miles an hour, this thing makes 900 foot-pounds of downforce.
Yeah.
Okay. And the funny part is if you took that turn 5 or even 10 mile per hour slower, you actually could spin out. So there's this really weird thing that happens on the track with this car that you actually have to just gas on through these turns. Mm-hmm. And if you were to slow down is when you lose it.
Yeah, and the 911 doesn't like to, you don't want to lift in the wrong times, right? Because that shifts the weight forward. You've got the engine,
Correct.
Closer to the rear. And
the engine on these are actually coming more and more forward. The actual engine on these is actually right about here, which is the same reason why you can no longer see the engines anymore. But the old ones, yes, they were behind the rear axle. So they've slowly crept up a little bit, but it's still a rear engine biased car. So what he's saying is, and I'm sure guys who are watching this video already know this, but if you don't, you want to brake a little bit early, settle the car, and then gas through the turn.
Yeah.
Because all of your weight then at that point is on those rear tires pushing you through the turn.
Yeah, if you're carrying too much speed, like
She'll
towards
oversteer.
the exit, and then you lift,
She'll oversteer.
then that's where you
She'll
start
kick
to
out on
lose the back end like this, and so.
And then you have to counter steer, and if you don't catch it right, you spin out and you're into the wall.
I didn't run into that. I didn't have an episode like that on track. I was pretty cautious, but this car is so planted. I mean, I didn't even think I engaged traction control hardly at all. I mean, it's just so easy to push to your limits, like you said, not the car's limits, because those are two different things.
They are.
But you're spot on. I mean, this car takes balls to drive correctly, and to to send it into like turn 5 or turn 16 at NCM at 105 miles an hour it doesn't come through on camera how scary that is.
No, it doesn't.
But I think I was at like 85 or 87 or so on my entrance to a turn like that, when I know like the pros, people that really know what they're doing, are like over 100 miles an hour.
Yep.
And it's like you got to build that confidence, and at the end of the day, push to your comfort level and your risk, right? I don't want to crash the car. I don't want to get hurt or anything like that. I just want to try to like have fun and understand what the car is capable of. And I definitely accomplished that on the first track day, and I'm so glad that I did it. So if you're out there and you want to track your car, Porsche 911, whatever, do it. Do it. Just go into it with the right mindset. Just be safe, going with the goal of having fun and understanding what your car's capable of, even through like the slower sections, because I was definitely able to feel that, like on some of the slower turns where I'm like, really feeling what the car is capable of through those sections. It's it's so much fun.
Absolutely. And again, don't think you have to go out there and just start off on the advanced class, right?
Yeah. And
even if you come out with this car thinking that you're going to be God's gift to driving, no, it's just you learn the track, you do a couple sessions, you do it at 510, You're clear with the guys out there that you're starting out. Nobody's going to judge you.
Yeah.
The fact that you're there and the fact that you brought this beautiful machine to the track is enough for every guy out there. There's not an ego play, especially the guys we roll with, right? They're welcoming, and everybody started somewhere, you know? It's like, you know, that's the truth.
The community's been incredible. I mean, that's going into like buying even the first silver car. I mean, I knew it was going to be a really fun journey. I had no idea, you know, what we were getting ourselves into in the most positive sense possible. Like, you know, the people that we've been able to meet, and just, you know, the drives we've been on, and just, it's been so much fun. So
yeah, I think people underestimate the level of experiences you're going to gain from having a car like this.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a lot of money, sure, but there is a return on your investment. And it's not just from saying you own the car. Like it'll introduce you to new people. You'll have new experiences on the track and stuff that, like, I think you look back on your life and you'll be like, you're never going to regret that money that you invested in this car.
No. So we're still at, depending on when you watch this, right? We're still in the environment of MSRP plus X. Now, how long that lasts, it's up in the air. I don't know. You know, and I didn't go into this as an investment. There's plenty of other ways to make a lot more money. Even if you hit like the jackpot and buy something like, you know, let's say you bought a 997 GT3RS new, like, and then let's say you took that amount of money, invested it in like whatever, you know, strategy.
If
somebody
you put it in
knows
the
what they're
S&P 500.
Yeah, you'd have double, triple.
Oh yeah, you could buy like 5 of these.
Exactly.
With that
So
money, right?
these are
Depending
not
on
investments. I don't care what anybody says. The only people that these cars are investments for are multiple deca millionaire, to where like it's they're one, like the Paganis, the Bugattis, like those.
It's one of 16 in the collection.
That's when you're like really talking about like, you know, serious investments that you know make sense. But I've always viewed cars as a passion, and this is a, you know, a passion project and a passion journey, right? Because it's a self-improvement challenge too, right? To understand like what my limits are and push those, and just, you know, understand, you know, the dynamics of driving and driving well, because, you know, driving this car like the way it's intended to be driven on track is not easy. And so
it's not.
It's like golf, right? it's you in the car, just like it's like you in the club. And so if in that sense, I find this to be a rewarding sense of the ownership experience too.
Guys, is even at 810 or 710 on the track, you're still beating every
smoking
car.
everybody. I was the fastest one in my session, and like no, like
and
I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah,
I know exactly. So wait till you know what you're doing. I mean, I know when Arby goes out there with these cars, like he's almost a little frustrated now because he's constantly having to be slowed down.
Yeah.
You know, so that 1 or 2 laps where it's actually open, you know, he can really push it, and then he just catches up to somebody.
Yeah. So I set a 218 at NCM, and so that's
good,
that's kind of the starting point.
Yeah, 218's fast.
And then we'll you know, maybe chip away, but, you know, baby steps.
If you can get under 210, I mean, I think I sent you a video. The guy did it in 203, right?
I don't remember what the time was, but it was fast.
That was
faster than me.
That was fast.
But yeah, definitely Road Atlanta is on my list. I would love to do Barber. You know, those are both within like a day's trip. Yep. You know, I'm really into sim racing. I mentioned that to you. Shameless plug. I have a YouTube channel just as a pure passion and hobby too, and I do a lot of sim racing on that. It's called High Speed 1.
Yeah.
And
I'll put the link right here.
Yeah, and then but like you could practice on the sim, right, and drive a GT3R in iRacing and Road Atlanta for like 10, 12 hours and get your, you know, racing line perfect and kind of know the track going in, and then take, you know, the road going version of it there and send it. So that's the plan. It'll be fun. I don't know when we'll get to Road Atlanta or Barber, but, you know, definitely in the next like year and a half or so, we'll try to make a trip down there.
Heck yeah, man.
And have some fun with it. Just keep having fun with the car. You know, it's all about fun. You know, these are passion projects. These are passion purchases. And if you're not having fun with these cars, then you should sell them. So we're going to keep having fun. We're going to keep driving it. So yeah, that's about it.
You cannot review a GT3RS on the street effectively, because you cannot even get to 510 limits on this car on the street. And the only way that you can become conscious of that is literally by taking this car to the track and experiencing what 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 on this car feels like. Because at essentially 180 miles an hour, which is around the top speed of this car, it makes 1,900 pounds of downforce. And at 124 pounds, or 124 miles an hour, it makes 900 pounds of downforce. And so I mean, where in the hell are you going to go 125 miles an hour into a turn on the street?
Yeah, and
nowhere.
125 at turning to where you can actually feel the downforce.
Right. I mean, there you go. That's a little bit of it, guys. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I know it looks like I'm probably going fast on camera. I'm telling you, I'm babying this car. I am absolutely babying it because there's so much performance. There's such a high limit, you know? Now, one of the things I do love about only having 330 foot-pounds of torque is that the car really never gets squirrely on you. Because there's, you know, you got 335 profile rear tires, you got all the downforce in the world. So you can come out of these turns and you can full throttle it, right? And the car is always stable. And so if you're a good driver and you know how to exploit the car, it's world class from that point of view. You're absolutely gonna love it. It's just, you just can never really get all of it, you know? And there's one thing about driving like the Miatas of the world and stuff, like you can run the absolute life out of that car, you know, and you know you are. This is one of those cars, especially on the street, you just never really get to, you know. But having said that, is it amazing on the street? Absolutely. I mean, listen to it. You know, it's incredible. Like, it's just, the limits are just so high, you know. That's the only thing I'll say.
So the saying is, it's more fun to drive slow cars fast than fast cars slow.
100%.
Right?
And this is a fast car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is the fastest car in the world around a track, or one of them, and it's great. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's no negatives to the driving experience. I mean, there's none. I mean, once these tires warm up a little bit like they are now, like, you feel it. It's amazing. It's just a lot. a lot of car.
The most fun is driving fast cars fast.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you want to keep it in the band, guys, that's how loud and how visceral this car is. It's just nuts. What an experience, though. It's so point and shoot. It really, really is. I will say, you know, unless you're not at the top of the power band, it doesn't have that throw you back in their seat turbo performance, but plenty of power. 100% plenty of power on the street. Do I want one? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I want one. You know? I mean, they are the best of breed.
One thing I really love about this one, flip it into track mode, and now it's going to give you, okay, now I'm going to scroll through here to here, and now you get your rev shift lights on the sides of the tack.
Right.
They'll turn blue when you're at red line. That's a small thing, but I feel like it really helps when you're driving like close to the car's limits of.
Yeah, we haven't seen the blue shift light once.
Yeah.
This whole time. Because again, it's just difficult to do on the street.
Yeah. See if you can hit it though here. Like you actually, it'll be like yellow, then blue, then shift.
Sure. You have to do it in first.
Yeah.
All right, here's the shift light. That's amazing.
See, that's really helpful though, like to have
Oh,
that in
yeah.
your peripherals, because if you're really focused on like an apex or something, like having that just in your peripheral vision is a helpful indicator of when to shift.
Oh, just amazing, guys. God, I can't wait. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. This is my conclusion. Look, this thing is 518 horsepower and 343 foot-pounds of torque, okay? Torque doesn't kick in until 6,300 RPM, so you got to be banging it off the rev limiter. Hope you enjoyed our point of view drive. Again, I know that we were excessively speeding, but at the end of the day, this is 510 on this car, and that's the reality. So if you own this car, take it to the track. understand, like I was saying, the limits of the car, start building that consciousness, and gosh, it's wonderful. You know, it's designed for it, it's warranted for it, and yeah, they're expensive cars, you know, $350,000, $400,000 all day long right now with a $100,000 ADM fee. And if you don't know what an ADM is, additional dealer markup. That's the reality of these cars. You know, will they go down a little bit? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, if everything is going to an electric world, this is one of the all-time greatest sports cars ever created. And it is what it is. I really appreciate you guys watching. I think that if I could own one car, it may not be this one, but if I could have 2 or 3, this would be the track car, 100%. Not necessarily the car that I would want to go out to dinner with. I still would give that to cars like the Vanquish, right, or a GTS of the world, a little softer, a little bit more low-end torque. But as far as just having that visceral FU experience and having the capability that this car gives you, I mean, it's in a class really all of its own. And I just think it's cool now that Porsche has engineered every single body panel, you know, and put extra cooling and whatnot. And they've just gone so far away from it being a Carrera. And I think that's kind of cool. Because if you look at most of the previous generations, it's just the same base car punched up, punched up, punched up, punched up. They put a 4-liter engine in it, they put some more aero, but it's basically still a Carrera. This is truly a bespoke car to itself. And I really think that's cool. And I think the reason why they're able to do that is because they know they're going to sell enough of them to make money from that. You know, if they only made 500 of these, it probably wouldn't be profitable, but they're making so many of these. So hopefully eventually the prices will come down as they keep producing, you know, 1, 2, 3,000 before they get to their final run. And then I think you should buy one. I mean, there's no negatives to the driving experience other than the fact that you just can't really feel like you're pushing it on the street. But again, take it to the track. It's built for it, it's engineered, it doesn't rattle, you know, all the wonderful things that GT Porsches give you. It's warranted, it's good. So, appreciate you watching, guys. I know Hi's got to get out of here. We had just a couple hours this Sunday morning. Thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts, go in the comments below, and go ahead and check out his channel as well. I'll put another link to it right here so you can follow him on his journey through learning all this thing has to offer. We'll talk to you guys later.